And hello, and welcome back to Magical Journey. I am your host, Daniel Cohoon, and happy Friday, everybody. So, before I get started tonight, I'm going to do just a tad bit of housekeeping. Really, the two things that I want to bring to people's attention is Fridays, obviously at 7:15 p.m. Central Time, is the live, and that is a forever going on project. We will not change that anytime soon. Um, the other thing I want to bring to your attention is magicaljourney.com, where you can find all things Magical Journey on there. Okay, I was trying to see. There's a note on my screen I haven't noticed before, but I'm also broadcasting this out to more than one destination today, so it has something to do with one of the other destinations. Um, and we'll talk about that later. The other thing I do want to let you guys know is about tonight. So you're going to be familiar with my guest tonight from earlier podcast. Uh, Episode 22, we had who you guys know as Nana the Witch. We'll talk about that in a moment. On an episode 28, Ryan was on. So I've got you guys a little surprise. I paired them up together tonight. Um, Strap on your seatbelt, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be an interesting ride because these two together are a power duo, okay? But without further ado, I'm going to bring on stage Ryan and Michelle. Hey, guys.
Hey, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to everyone.
Oh, my goodness, that's right. It is St. Valentine's Day.
Mhm.
So, guys, we're going to start off by just introducing yourselves, promote what you've got to promote. Because I have a feeling things have changed drastically since we've talked last in some ways. Michelle, if you would like to start us off with that.
Yes and no. Things have changed, but not drastically. I have been working on a new business. I have been taking care of my husband who had a stroke in August. I have been mentoring people. I have been coaching people, wonderful people. I am meeting such wonderful people. But to be perfectly honest, the main thing that I am doing right now is helping people transition and understand the things they're going through right now, energetically, spiritually, things of that nature. So,
Ryan, what's going on with you?
Oh my God. Well, actually, today I finished. I just pressed the publish button on my latest book, which is the Spanish translation of my herbal astrological herbal manual. So I actually have been trying to translate my books into Portuguese, French, and Spanish, and right now I have multiple books that I've published. I've started translating them into different languages. And if anybody wants to buy my books, they can go to Amazon and look up Philip Ryan Deal, and you can see all my books, and you might even see some Spanish titles on there. So that's exciting. I started a church since the last time I was on this podcast. It's called the Progressive Charismatic Church of All Saints in Christ. It's a spiritualist church, and it's based in North Carolina. I started that with my friend Mama Sunfire. And then I also founded my Oshun temple, which is called Aje Fun Fun, the Aje Fun Fun temple. And that is an Oshun temple, an Orisha temple, because I'm an Orisha priest here in Massachusetts. So I got a lot of shit going on, and I'm really happy to be here tonight. Good to see you.
Me too.
I'm happy you guys are both here for a lot of reasons. Because I think there are times when we need to go back and revisit and reacquaint ourselves with some stuff within the community. And so one of the things that I want us to kind of talk about for a moment is let's touch on the idea of identity and past. You're laughing. It's a deep subject, I know.
I'm laughing because the woke bullshit found its way into the witchcraft and occult community, and that's the fucking problem. And now I'm going to shut up because I don't want to get your show canceled. But what you see in culture finally spilled over into witchcraft and into the occult and stuff like that. So what you're seeing is everybody is so goddamn confused. They don't know who they are. They don't know their head from a hole in the ground. They don't know which direction they're standing in, because you couldn't ask any one of them which way is north if you were talking to them. So, I mean, people want so badly to try to define who they are, their gender, their sexual orientation, their religion, their practice, what kind of witchcraft they do, it's like really weird to me because, bitch, I'm Generation X and we weren't like that. We didn't give a fuck about definitions of what you were. So that's why I feel like me as a 45-year-old dude is really confused, because I think a lot of people are, because the younger generations today have they place a lot of importance in defining things. And the problem with spirituality is you just can't define it. It doesn't fit into a box. Magic doesn't fit into a box. It doesn't fit into a label. So these definitions that all of these witch bitches on TikTok or witch talk or bitch, however you want to call it, have put themselves in, these boxes that they've put themselves in, is extremely limiting. It's choking off all creativity, everything. Go ahead. You know what, Michelle, you say something.
No, I am in 100% full agreement with everything you've said. Energy doesn't have an identity. It has a frequency.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say about it.
Well, and I think what I see, and this is just my observation, is the misqualified energy that people are putting into, trying to limit themselves with the body, with the flesh, the material world. They don't understand that all these things are made up of energy. They don't get that it's not, the piece of paper is a piece of paper, but it's much more than that.
It all boils down to people finding their value externally.
Mm-hmm.
That's simple. It's simply that. They seek their value from other things, other people. We were raised that way. I mean, it's ingrained in it. You're as good as your job. So what do you do for a living? That's how you're going to be judged. Are your clothes clean? What kind of car do you drive? That's where it comes from. And then you pair that, and like I said earlier, with the polarization of a platform like the TT or any of them, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And you just create a giant ego. And it's hard to escape, especially, and we can get into the NPCs and the parts that they play and all of that as well.
One of the things that
we're going to jump. Let's jump.
So here's the simplicity of understanding is we have a lot of individual drops of water that think that they are
the ocean.
The ocean, exactly. And what they don't understand is they are a drop of water in the ocean that creates the big picture. And this is, you know, is I y'all forgive me, but I really love the creationists for so many reasons. They, you know, Lord Krishna said it best in that, you know, we are essentially all the one, not it's not an identity separate from
That's
that
right.
which is. I mean, we're not as an identity separate from that which is.
That's right.
When we are able to come to that conclusion, when we're able to understand that, then we can go to the next level. And I think, don't you guys find it interesting that we're in a time period where like they call the 80s the I decade? I think now is more I than any time.
I don't think there's anything different about human beings today than there was 20,000 years ago. I just think we have better technology, but nothing about human behavior changes because we are evolving. We're kind of coasting and evolving as a species as long as we don't blow ourselves up or an asteroid hits us or, you know, an infectious disease we can't fight breaks out. I mean, there's all kinds of things that could go wrong, right? But human beings don't change fast. And I'm talking about because we're running on it's not just your conscious mind that makes your choice. Can I say something? Let me just give me a second to build this concept here. People think that when they wake up in the morning and brush their teeth and comb their hair and they pick their favorite coffee and they get in the car and they drive the car that they chose when they went to the car lot and they're sitting in the apartment that they chose on the sofa that they chose, they have the mistaken identity that they are consciously making these choices. Yes, you consciously chose, but there are subconscious drives that don't think that are also pushing you to pick red instead of blue, to pick up instead of down, to pick Christianity instead of Hinduism. There is a drive there. We are driven or dragged, depending on how you want to look at it, by the universe, and we are biologically programmed to move forward because your DNA is a chain, a link that binds you to everyone who came before you. All those codes and all those different people and all those sequences are you. So those are codes. And I am pretty damn sure that we don't just pass on traits of like eye color or pass on traits of skin tone or pass on traits of like maybe disease or alcoholism or mental and behavioral health problems. We pass on ideas.
Mm-hmm.
We pass on concepts. It is written in us because we are coded. So when people think that they do a thing, mindfulness has become a major practice for me because whenever I just think about something, I'm like, why do I think that? Why am I thinking that? Like I'm giving myself more pause when I'm making choices, asking myself the question, what is the real drive behind it? And when you can get to a point spiritually, or if you guys, anybody in the audience who's listening that ain't spiritual at all, just be more mindful about your day. When you wake up in the morning, you will blow up your life if you just pay attention to what's actually going on.
Right, right. I find it very interesting, some of the stuff that, because we, the understanding of what's encoded in us, I think is one of the things that, unless you really dive into it, you don't understand the complexity of the encoding of each individual. Like, I love it whenever somebody says that I feel like I was this person or that person in a previous life because, you know, I by nature know this or that or another, and I shouldn't because I never read it before. But then when I did read it, I was like, a light bulb came on, and I was like, oh yeah, I knew that. And I'm like, why does that have to do with a past life? Why can't it just simply have to do with encoding?
Why can't it just be a parallel life?
Yeah. Yeah. There too, right? And that's what I think that's one of the things that we're, old terminologies are great, old concepts are great, past lives are great, but there's more to learn.
It's just words.
It is.
It's just labels. I get actually just recently was speaking to a friend, a TikTok friend, and they made a comment of something about the quantum being a trend or the quantum being new age or whatever. And of course, I had to throw him Democritus in his face, because that was the Greek scientist who is credited with laying the groundwork for what we now know as quantum physics. Okay, let's just take God, okay, for an example. If you go into a room and you talk about God, what's everybody going to think? The Christian God, okay? And this actually got me kicked out of Sunday. I was less liked in Sunday school. I'll tell you that much, because I said, what if, and this was decades ago, these concepts were already coming in, okay? What if the God that we're all sitting here today worshiping, what if he was the Buddha as well? What if he was Ganesh? What if he was Zeus? What if he was, and I could never in my life sit here and list all the gods. Why not? All the gods are one God. The one God is all the gods. We all are individuals. However, we share a consciousness. You think of your circulatory system, or you think of your nervous system. Comes off the spine, right? And then what's it do? But all the info goes back to the spine, right? And then it goes here. And then where's it go? So the bickering, the judging, the oppression, the things that go on in social media in this generation today is so useless unless it's part of the learning.
Right. It's very interesting because time is the one resource that is not renewable. And yet it is the one resource that we literally just chunk out the door like we have eternity.
Time is the only thing you cannot buy more of, put away in a bank account, hold on to. Time is the most valuable thing in the universe, and energy is the most valuable currency in the universe.
Yes.
In your time, you will never be able to get more time. So this is all we have right now. So why are you wasting your fucking time?
Yeah. Yeah.
And your energy is important. It's taught. I want to say, a lot of people think of me as a witch, which isn't wrong. But at the same time, over the past couple of years, my spirituality, my spirits, my ancestors, my spiritual path has taken me more and more and more Afro-Indigenous.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of my personal, let's say how I move through the world, the language I choose to use, because language is important, is more traditional than, let's say, using witchy language. I'm going to be using more traditional language than witchy language. That's the paradigm in which I want to, as a chaos magician, work in. That's I want to use this language because this is the language that resonates with my vibration. Language is important. And there's something that Michelle said a minute ago that I wanted to pick up on, and I had a brain poot, and now I can't remember exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say that consciousness extends far outside of your body. Your field of awareness is everything that you can see, which is why you always feel so much smaller, but so much more in awe when you're standing on top of a mountain looking up into the vast universe, or why you feel more empowered when you're like in your own home and you in your own kingdom. But we are energy consciousness. And from a traditional point of view, at least in my tradition, we believe that we exist prior to this incarnation.
Mm-hmm.
And we come here to play the game of life. This is a game. Life is a game. It's a game. It's for play. And when the game is over, when you've expended all your energy and you're done, you die, who you are, or what you are, more like what you are, not who you are, more like what you are, goes back to where it came from, and it will do this again and again and again and again and again. So
give me a second. I got to say something. Yeah. What he is talking about has been confirmed by people like Dolores Cannon, by people like, I don't know if anybody's familiar with Bashar. They talk about, they use different words, different labels. It's the same concept. You see what I'm saying?
So here's the thing. I want to put this out there. This is very important, and I don't want to forget. This is a message to all of the people that are watching this. Okay. What you think, what you say matters a lot.
Oh, 1,000%.
A lot, because guess what? We make magic through our language. We create our reality by using our language. The words that we use matter. There are words that mean something. They don't mean anything else except exactly what they are. So to blur the lines around what things mean and make things, oh, well, it might mean that, but it might not mean that. No, we have to have a standard of language that we use that will properly allow us to navigate through space and navigate through this reality. Mm-hmm. And so the issue is that most people are not listening to that voice inside their head. You need to change the way you think. You need to change the way you're processing information, change the way you're listening, and change the way you talk, and change the way you talk about yourself. Yeah. That is the first thing that you need to do if you're going to realign yourself with this energy. Mm-hmm. You need to sit down with a piece of paper, and on one side, you need to draw a line down the piece of paper, and on one side, write down what you actually believe. What do you believe? Do you believe in God? Do you believe in reincarnation? Do you believe in Buddha? Like, what the fuck? What do you believe? You need to write down what you actually believe, not what your mama told you, not what your pastor told you, not what your babalao told you. Fuck those motherfuckers. Write down exactly what you believe and write down your ethics and your morality. And when you finish writing that document, that is your religion. That is what you believe. Not Christianity, not Hinduism, not Judaism, not Wicca, not Ifa, not Voodoo, not Hinduism, none of that shit. Yoga, nothing. What you actually believe is what you are, not the shit you say because you read a fucking book about it. So I highly recommend that people sit down and actually think about what they believe, because what you believe is going to determine how you act. And Ifa, the spirituality I'm involved in, says good character is good destiny, and good destiny is good character. And Ifa links the quality of your actions are directly tied with the quality of your outcome. How you act is going to determine what kind of destiny you get. Now, people might say that's karma, but it is. But
it's a word
thing. Go ahead, Michelle. That's an ancient, it's an idea. It's a concept. But the idea is how you move through space is going to determine how well you get to where you want to get to.
Yeah.
I don't want to derail this conversation too much, but we have a question here I'm curious about. Have you ever wondered if dreams were reality and this life is a dream?
Edward Casey and Bashar both talk about exactly that is in their explanation of things, that is exactly what is happening.
This is not, we're not, this is real. Let's just get something really straight. You're real. Life is real. We're having a real experience.
Yeah.
Now, real is subjective because there's many different kinds of reality. There's different levels to this thing. But don't go into some kind of spiritual psychosis thinking, oh, this is a dream. I'm walking around in a movie and I'm the star of it. No, 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 no. That's psychosis. You are real. This is real. The simulation is that we're on Earth having this experience and we're doing all these things. That's the dream. Because who you really are, that energy consciousness that came here to play the game, had to forget that it was coming here in order to play the game. Because if you showed up to play the game and you remember all the shit you learned in all the other lifetimes you were here, well, you know what? You would win, and then it wouldn't be fair, would it?
Right.
So the idea here is that this is real. Sometimes when I dream, I think I'm talking to ancestor spirits. Sometimes when I dream, I feel like I'm in a parallel life, like it's my life, but it's a little bit different. Some of the people are the same. Some of the people are different. I think dreams can do all kinds of things, but I don't think interpreting your dreams is necessarily the most important part of your spiritual development. I think it's an interesting part, but I don't think trying to define what dreams mean really matter that much. I don't know what Michelle thinks.
Dreams, I agree. That's just well, once you learn between a dream and between, say, astral travel or something like that, I believe the sleep state lends people to be able to connect back to their source. It's been said by many people at this point. I couldn't even begin to list them all. Okay. This is a school. This is a coveted school. And we are humans. However, the souls that the higher selves, whatever you want to call it, you want to call it your soul, your higher self, your spirit guides. I don't care what you call it. It's relevant. It's all the same thing. They're not all from the same place. You see what I'm saying? They're not all from the same place. I don't know how to clarify that without sounding like a complete lunatic. But I'll use heaven because that's a socially acceptable place. We're not all from heaven. Okay. Or we're not all from, different planets. There's different solar systems. These are all living bodies. They're not rocks floating in the universe like we have been taught. Some would say
throwing rocks at us right now. Michelle.
Some would say that the solar systems themselves are the entity and the planets are the places that it wants to experience itself in. That is a theory, a real theory. And the more I learn and study science and the quantum and how the universe works and how the primordial powers work, really scientifically proven to work. There's graphs and datas and reports all over the place. The more that story's not so far-fetched. Now, I'm not going to sit here and go, I know this to be true. I don't know this to be true, but I know what my studies have led me to. And those concepts are not all that far-fetched.
So,
absolutely. Yes, that's exactly what it is.
The Mandela effect question.
Yeah, I'm going to say that is what it is.
Oh. Did you answer that, Mandela? I'm not touching that Mandela shit. I'm not talking.
Here is what I have learned regarding that effect. When we go through things like active solar cycles, And, you know, we've got asteroids coming at us from other solar systems, and the universe is being really active. It charges things. And I don't know about you, but I have experienced months or times during this past year that my timelines have been all over the place. My reality, you go back into, okay, and here's the thing, TikTok has given me proof of this. And that's an unusual thing, because if you go 1 year ago, even today, and look at my old TikToks, this is not the same person. I have jumped so many timelines and have gone through so many different realities that I am not even remotely the same person. And I see it on videos. So I can't help but think that that's true.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like, honestly,
Souls.
if the people that were following any one of the three of us 2 years ago when I joined TikTok were to go back and look at the videos from those periods of time and then compare them to the three of us now and who we are at this moment in time, I think it would be very confusing for some of them. Exactly. We would be the next people who got replaced by our clones, probably, because all three of us are very different. Then, as a matter of fact, Ryan, I believe, if you remember correctly, one of the things when we actually spoke face to face for the first time, one of the things that I said to you was talking about your evolution. And that was sort of what I was like, tongue in cheek, referring to, is the difference between all of us now and then. You know, even last week, like, the person I was 2 weeks ago was not the same person now. Yeah.
That's because you're not separate from your environment. You are your environment.
Right.
So everything
Right.
in your environment and around you is going to be you. You're not something separate. We're not something that exists outside of nature. We're a part of nature, and we're not something separate from our environment. We're a part of it, which is why it's so important to choose your environment. I think people like us, after being in certain environments, determined that those are not the environments we want to stay in, and we want to be in a different environment or a better environment or a higher environment. Like, I think that we have evolved. There's some people, they just don't want to evolve. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I just want to say there's nothing wrong with staying where you're at. It takes many, 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 many lifetimes and many, many future rebirths coming here many times to figure out your shit. And so if people can only be where they're at. This is why you can't get frustrated with people. This is why you can't get angry at people. People literally are where they are. They could be here, 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 here. Doesn't matter, on the spiritual realm or even mental, emotional realm, whatever, physical realm. We're all where we're at. And we can't be anywhere other than exactly where we're at.
That's right.
So, this question that Denise has asked,
see, can I just stop this? Because I know you're going to ask Denise's questions, and these questions are bullshit that we don't need to talk about. Let me just say something real quick. I know you're going to talk about it anyway. That's fine. I need the people listening to understand that sitting around playing with yourself, okay? Mental masturbation over how many times have I lived? What's going to happen when I reincarnate? Am I going to come back as 5 people? Am I going to come back as 1 people? And all this stuff, we don't know. We don't know if ghosts really exist. We pretend that they do. We don't know.
Okay, nope. You and me are going to go round about that.
No. Let me just, because I believe in spirits, but let me posit this concept to y'all for a second. What if we live in a highly interactive universe, an energetic consciousness universe, the quantum field? We're all in it. And when you fuck with the universe, it fucks back with you. But that's it. There's nothing
That
special.
is it. That is it.
Well, that is it. Right. So what I'm saying is that people try to pretend or act like they actually know how this shit show works, and nobody does.
Mm-mm.
Nobody does. If you think
here is how I judge.
If you think you know how this place works, you're wrong.
Here is how I choose my path on such subjects, okay? I listen. I listen to the gurus. Some of them are jackpots. You know, you have to use discernment. But I listen to the psychics. I listen to the gurus. I listen to the light workers, and I hear what they're saying. And that's why I say TikTok being so polarizing, because it's like, oh, well, I don't listen to those people because what? Why? Listen to what the people are saying. And what I find is sometimes they all start saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes me go, okay, I'm going to choose this path for a second and see what happens. You know, I've got my people that I listen to, you know, my mentors, so to speak. None of them have anything to do with each other. I'm literally, a lot of times they will say things that validate downloads I've received.
Mm-hmm.
So now, can I sit here and tell you, I know that this is what's going to happen when you die? No, because I don't know, but I know what I'm learning. And I know if someone's going to come to me for guidance, they're going to get guidance from me that I see through my lens. And my lens is created by what I study. My lens is not Ryan's lens. He has a whole different lens. And everyone that is guided to him for guidance is going to get his guidance through his lens. My lens doesn't invalidate his lens, and his lens doesn't invalidate mine. But everyone is on a path, and they're here or here or here. It's all different. And when you start boxing that in and saying, oh, that's wrong, that is the wrong path, or you are learning that wrong, or bullshit. That's when I call bullshit.
I agree with everything Michelle just said. What I was saying was when I said wrong earlier, that was specifically as if anyone could say for a fact, like they actually know through and through factually exactly what happens at any moment in time in the universe, or what happens as far as like after death and all of that stuff. That's why this is what I found about mystics. Okay. And I've taken a more mystical path. My journey has gone way more mystical, way more shamanic, way more Afro-Indigenous, and way more into old spirituality. And what I have found is that people who are mystics won't talk about metaphysics. They'll talk about behavior. What is the first thing Buddha did? Buddha sold his teachings because he showed up and said there's 4 fucking problems with this world, the 4 noble truths. The world is fucked up like this or like that, like this or like that. That's the problem. And then what did he show up with? The Eightfold Noble Path. The Eightfold Noble Path is 8 principles that guide an individual's existence to spiritual development, but they're based on actions. I don't talk about metaphysics anymore. I talk about, how do you feel about yourself?
Mm-hmm.
What is the internal dialogue that's going on inside your head that's talking about you? How are you interpreting the world? What is mindfulness teaching you? What is energy teaching you? My idea of guiding people on the spiritual path today is showing them how their behavior, their actions, and how they talk is directly affecting their life in a negative way. And as Ifa does, try to extract and remove those negative patterns of behavior that keep you in the same cycles over and over.
That is 1000% correct.
Me and Michelle have a title. It's called Behavioral Modification Therapist Witches.
Oh my. Okay.
Why not?
I mean, Ryan, this is why I love you. You're like one of those people that like you're one of the few people I know who can pull something like that out of the air from nothing and just go with it. You know, I, let me just put this out there for you guys too. Being somebody who is a not one but two-time cult survivor, let me explain something to you guys. The first mistake that anybody makes, especially someone who claims to be a teacher, is having a final authority. Okay.
Yes.
Do not get me crossed here. Okay. Don't get me screwed up with somebody, because some of you guys already know that my calling has changed drastically over time. But if I ever say to any one of you that my word is the absolute truth, that's the day you need to put me in check and take me off to the side and say, I think you need to go look in the mirror for a few minutes because you're wrong. Here's the fact of the matter. Anybody who is any sort of teacher, whether they're teaching, you know, they're teaching history, they're teaching God only knows what, it doesn't really matter the subject. We're all fallible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're all fallible. The absolute truth. People want to ask me stupid questions about the afterlife and all that all the time. Like I'm going to remember those experiences. I have no idea what to tell you. I really have no idea what to tell you. Are you going to see the white light at the end of a tunnel? Maybe. Are you going to like spend an eternity at Walmart if you were bad? Probably. I don't know. I have no idea. Here's what I will tell you though, is that truth will ring true to you. Okay. If you feel that what someone else has said is true and it rings true to you, at that moment, that is your truth. But do not go dancing off into the sunset with anybody who claims to be the final authority on truth. Watch carefully for cult figures because there are a lot of them out there, especially on social media. That I will tell you for sure. I just had a conversation the other day with somebody who claimed to be something way more than they are. And I asked them one question, and their theology fell apart real quickly because the question, my right, 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 exactly. The the idea that I presented to them was, you know, it was basic and elementary, and they really could not grasp the simplicity of it. And I thought to myself how quickly, the mighty fall whenever their shoes get untied. So be very careful, guys, about the absolute truth sayers in the world. I don't know where that came from, but I really need to say that. There's somebody out there that hear that. But yeah, here's another thing I want us to camp on for a minute while I've got these guys, because you guys don't know what. Go back and watch this again after you've been here tonight, and you'll see exactly why I paired these two together. You don't know what a gold mine we have in front of us right now. You just don't know what a gold mine we have here. They're laughing because they think I'm crazy, but
No.
watch this. So guys,
I laugh because I can only imagine what your audience thinks. They're like, find these people.
Yeah.
You would be surprised. Some of them are probably going to eat this up and go back and watch it 2 or 3 times, taking it. Because there's some stuff that you guys have touched tonight that's been really, really powerful. That when you are in the process of just going through your regular, but here we are, we're doing it. We're waking up. We don't want to. We want our bed is nice and comfy and cozy. We want to just be here. What's the first thing that you do in the morning when you first when you plant your feet on the floor? What's your first thing? There's a reason I'm asking this question.
Well, the very first thing I believe in and where I'm at in my spiritual path is as soon as I open my eyes and I sit up, I reach my arms up and I thank myself. I thank my Ori, which is that consciousness, that higher self, divine self, whatever you're talking about, like Michelle was talking about earlier. In Ifa, we praise our consciousness, ourselves first before anything. Then we get started on the day, because I'm looking to that higher consciousness, that divinity, that God in me, the God that's in action in me, in the world. I'm looking to that for inspiration before I start to do anything else.
I don't do that as soon as my feet hit the floor, because I have 10 things to do once my feet hit the floor. But every day I sit and reflect.
Mm-hmm.
I put myself into a grateful state, and I go to bed the same way, in a grateful state.
Mm-hmm.
It is vital, and I only speak for myself, and invite people to try it, is all I say. It is vital I maintain a certain frequency. Vital. I cannot exist any longer in the lower frequencies of which I found myself most accustomed. So that's what I do when I first wake up. I put myself in that grateful. And it's really the same thing he's saying. He just does it before he gets out of bed. You know,
Right.
you put yourself in that state, in that frequency, because we know through quantum physics, this is science, that things are entangled. Superposition exists. The frequency I put out, something is going to resonate to.
Mm-hmm.
Resonance is a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not being a cult leader by saying that this is
Right.
It is. I'm not the one who wrote the paper on it, you know.
Right.
But it's out there. Resonance, and your reality will resonate. And you know, you easily can resonate. How many times have you walked in a room and just your energy went bonk? Because whomever, or maybe everyone, was resonating at a low frequency. Because energy isn't good or bad. It doesn't care. It doesn't recognize that as a low frequency. Energy wants to resonate. It just wants to. And it takes practice to learn how to make sure shit's resonating to you and you're not resonating to it. That's where the practice comes in. That's where the learning the magic, learning, you know, how to stay on this side of the soil.
Right.
Can I say, dude, to back?
Absolutely.
I would like to say something about gratitude. She mentioned gratitude and she mentioned it multiple times. I also cannot stress how important it is to have gratitude, a gratitude journal, or work on gratitude. And I'll tell you why. This is why. Okay. You know, scientists, astronomers, astrologers for thousands of years, people, we have looked up into the sky. We have sent telescopes out into deep space, like, you know, Hubble and the latest one, Webb. We, as far out as we can possibly see, in every direction, everywhere, we are the only planet that looks like this. Let me just hold on a second. Let's just bring it back down. Because if you don't think you're special, you're special. Okay. If anybody out there who's got some low self-esteem thinking, I'm not special. Well, listen to this. Everywhere we look in the universe, we can't find anything that looks like this place. So that tells me from direct experience, or at least what I can perceive, that there's something special about this place, that there's something going on here, that there's some kind of game that's being played here. It's that feeling that everybody has, that knows, all the people who have not spiritually woke up yet. It's that gnawing feeling of dis-ease they have inside, knowing that there's something else, but they don't quite know what it is. Okay. Having gratitude makes your life so much better, because you realize that it's very important to be alive. It's very special. It's why suicide is considered to be extremely taboo. Why? Because someone who kills themselves doesn't see the value of being alive. And there's a lot of souls in the universe that would rather be alive than not. So it's a disrespect for the fact that we have this existence. It's very special to be a human being, and it's very special to be alive, and it's very special to be here on earth right now. So gratitude is important, and you should think about how special and unique we are when you start bitching about why you can't get your grande chai vanilla latte enema at Starbucks.
Don't even sound nice. So, just to kind of piggyback off of what they're saying, I'm going to tell you guys an experience I've had recently that somebody pointed out to me that they thought was fairly miraculous in a way. And after I thought about it, I was like, I guess you could term it that. Not this week, but this past week, I had a horrendous bug. Like I never get sick, literally. It's been years since I've called out for more than one day here or there for whatever reason. This thing put me on my backside, and it was not going to let up. And I thought to myself, day one, I was okay. I was like, all right, everybody has to deal with something sometimes, so this is my day to have to deal with it. Day two, I was like, okay, this is not funny. I'm not enjoying it. Day three, I was like, I'm tired of giving control over it to this thing, because there's other things going on in my life that is much more pleasant than this. This experience is not a fun time, but these things are a fun time. And if I move this out of my way, I can get to the ice cream. You know what I'm saying? Day four, I was like, okay, you're done, out of here. By day five, I was actually out of bed. It's still trying to play with me. That's fine. But it has not won the battle. I say that to say this. The only reason I'm able to manifest things like that in my life the way that I do, and it's the same thing with having victory over anxiety. Ryan can attest to the fact that I got to be a blubbering idiot one day. I was so tired of anxiety. And I finally discovered my biggest problem was I was letting it control me, which I already knew that was the thing. But here's what I'm going to tell you. My gratitude list is the thing that motivates me every day to not let those things that would stand and try to block me take ownership. I take ownership over them, because I know whatever is right between me and my gratitude list is a barrier that needs not be there. My gratitude list, things that I enjoy, things I love, the things that are part of my work, is more important. And those are the things that I want to take dominion in my world. And I give the power to take dominion in my world, are the things that I'm grateful for, the things that bring me joy. All this mess that gets in the way, I'm like, you don't belong here. Next next, move on. Keep going, go. And, does that mean every day is like going to be peaches and cream all the way through? And I'm going to be fart and glitter? No, it does not. What it does mean, though, is that I've accepted the fact that I have control and authority over me and my space. And to choose to let something else that does not bring me joy, does not bring me health, wealth, and happiness, control that. That's on me. I did that. I did that to me. Okay. Taking dominion over it, taking control and saying, you know what, you ain't passing this line. Go away. I did that too. That's on me. So what I'm telling you guys right now is this whole concept of gratitude is a lifesaver in some ways, because when you realize that that bowl of ice cream that's your gratitude is much better than all the shit you're setting in, bubbling in, you're going to want to move that out of the way to get to that gratitude on the daily. Minute your feet hit the floor, you're going to want to take note of gratitude, and you're going to want to bask in that, right? If you find a pretty pair of shoes, or a pretty dress, or a pretty shirt that makes you look good, you're not going to throw it off to the side and wear some raggedy ass stuff that you don't make you look good, right? You're going to go for the pretty thing. So I'm telling you, the gratitude part is a motivator, if nothing else. So if you're not doing that yet, think about it. Think about the motivation that's bringing your day.
Do you know what the biggest lie people tell themselves? Biggest lie. I don't have a choice.
I hate that. I hate that. That's the one thing I really hate. I genuinely hate words put together.
That's the biggest lie you can tell yourself. I don't have a choice. Yes, you do.
Me and Sophia talk about that a lot. And the thing is, there are a million different possible outcomes. And there are some probable outcomes depending on the trajectory in which you're living your life. But you do have the ability to choose what kind of life you want to live, specifically a life of peace and tranquility, of harmony and balance, of spirituality and feeling love and gratitude and deep connection between other people and you. You make that choice. Every moment to moment, you're making that choice. Every single moment, you're choosing what kind of life that you want to have, and what kind of energy you're allowing in your life, and what kind of energy you're putting out. That's your currency, like I said earlier before. And so you have to be able to make choices based on your available options, though. All of us have available options. There are ways for us to maneuver in and out of the cracks of our life to get from point A to point B. Being mindful, having gratitude, and one thing we're going to throw on there, the third thing that Daniel brought up, was taking responsibility for yourself.
Accountability.
Taking accountability. Yes. Yeah, being responsible for yourself. Taking accountability for what you do. And until people can take accountability for their actions,
that's right.
That's just like walking around in a circle.
Yep. You can't ascend. I mean, and you can call it shadow work, and you can call it, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't make any difference what you want to call it. It's irrelevant. But until you know who you are, you can't be anybody else. You can't do anything else. You can't ascend. And that I would stand on. Yeah. It took me decades to do that work. Decades.
But who you are can change from moment to moment, from day to day, from week to week, to month to month.
Let's hope it does.
It's fluid. You want it to be fluid. You want to move like Bruce Lee said, move like water, friend. You want to move like water. And what you'll find, the more you are mindful, and you pay attention to the energy, the more you're going to realize that there isn't really such a strong self that's operating the car. It's a lot of different versions of you, a lot of different selves. There's a lot there. And I have found that my personality and who I am as a person is very fluid. It's not necessarily solid. It couldn't be. I couldn't be a magician or a chaos magician if I didn't allow myself to move in a fluid way. And so that's why it comes down to just relax. You know, if I could give any advice to anybody out there, is just calm down. You know, there are people who are like, they're always reading spiritual books and they're reading magical grimoires and they're asking me, what book can I read now? What is it? And I'm like, stop reading fucking books. Go outside and sit down and try to talk to a rock or something, you know, get in touch with reality, be mindful, pay attention to your energy. Because if not, you're just living in a realm of concepts and ideas. And concepts and ideas aren't reality. They're just ways we talk about it.
They're lenses you look at things through.
They're paradigms.
That's just all it is.
And you can switch your paradigm.
Yep.
It's that easy. You can
change your reality.
You can just decide you don't want to believe in hell anymore because, you know, a loving God wouldn't do that. And you could just go ahead and kick that
You sure can.
Concept right off your shoulder.
Yeah.
Because you need to align yourself with
what serves you.
And how you feel. How do you feel? Talk about it. Talk to you. How do I feel about that? How do I feel about that? Do I think that's right? Do I think that's wrong? Make up your own damn mind instead of allowing other people to tell you who you are or give you options about who you are. Because you know what? We could say, well, even this is where I have a problem. Even trying to tell somebody their available options is overstepping your motherfucking boundaries with me. You don't give me available options about who I am. I create the available options for who I am. Not somebody else.
Exactly. I
And
want to
learn magic and spirituality on TikTok. You cannot get the
No, you cannot. You cannot.
No. If you're one people that came from TikTok because you watched one of our 3 TikToks announcing this episode, my advice to you is shut that fucking app off. Turn it off. Delete it all for a month.
Here would be my advice on platforms. I'm not going to just pick on TikTok because it's everywhere. Use it as a muse. If you hear someone say something, let that be an opportunity for you to study. Don't take their word for it. Any video I make, don't take my word for it. Okay? Use it as a muse. And the problem is, people are like, TikTok is like the Bible to some people. It's like, it ends and begins, and it's just not.
One of the things I try to do now with situations like that is simply tell people, look, here is my thought on this, but again, you have to make a choice. You have to think critically about things. This is why starting your day out is the way you start your day out is incredibly important, I believe. This is why I went to that a moment ago, because however you start your day out is either going to open your mind or close your mind. Because we just woke up from refreshment. Okay, we shut down for the night or the day, depending on when you sleep. We just woke up from being refreshed. So we have to start all over. We have to decide, we have to choose what we're doing that day. Are we having a good day? Are we having a bad day? It's strictly up to us to make that choice. It's strictly up to us. But honestly, the gratitude bowl full of goodies is really much better, trust me. Much better than the spoiled fruit. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Okay. At the end of the day, if you walk up to me and you go, must I give up eating meat and become a vegetarian or a vegan in order to make my ascension? I'm going to look at you and go, I am not the person to ask that question to, because frankly, if grabbing a cow carcass and biting into it before it's even cooked brings you pleasure, and that is how you choose to eat, then that's how you choose to eat. Do I think it's going to affect your ascension? Probably not, because it's not what comes in your mouth, food, drink. It's not what's going in your mouth is not what's going to be the the thing. Okay, it's what comes out of your mouth that's going to be the thing. You know, are you speaking love? Are you speaking hatred? What are you? What's coming out of that mouth is the important part, not what you put in it. You know, it's the same thing with a lot of other isms and ain'ts in the world. And is this right? Is that right? You know, again, Ryan, you brought this up earlier. Your action, your actions, your words, good words, good thoughts, good deeds. You know, the bottom line to everything, is guard your tongue. Don't worry about your tummy. Your tummy will deal with what you put in it. You know, whatever you are releasing into your body, when this body is gone, that's gone too. You're not going to have to worry about it. But whatever comes out of here and whatever is like manifested from this, you probably are going to be surprised by what I'm about to say, but it's going to probably drag around with you like baggage if it's the wrong thing, or it's going to ascend with you if it's the right thing. That is the bottom line in a sense, right? Right.
I love what you're saying, Daniel. And I think that, see, this is why I like to teach, because I like making exercises. I like doing spiritual exercises and meditations and giving suggestions about journaling and things like that, because I journal a lot. I write a lot. I do write a lot. I mean, I write books, but I mean, because I journal a lot, because I'm all about like writing and language and stuff. But I think it's very, very important for everybody to sit down with a pen and paper, okay? And just write down several aspects of yourself that you want to improve. And we're not going to call that shadow work. Fuck shadow work. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I hate shadow work. So we're not going to call it that. We're going to call it a mindfulness journaling. Sit down and write down a few things about yourself that doesn't feel good. Like you get angry too easy, or any other kind of behavioral trait that you know causes problems for you. Behavioral traits that are actively causing and drawing problems to you, we should acknowledge what they are and try to find alternative ways to do what we want to do without going down the same negative behavioral paths. And let me tell you, I used to have a big anger management problem, in case any of you didn't know. Or
Used to. Go ahead.
I used to. It's a lot better now. But the amount of effort it takes to overturn years of conditioning. And I want you to, like, don't be upset if you don't get the results that you want immediately. I haven't worked out in months. If I went to Planet Fitness right now and thought that I could get on a treadmill and run for an hour, I would fail. If I thought I could go over to the dumbbells and pick up 100-pound weights and start picking up 100-pound weights, I would fail because my expectations for myself are beyond what I'm capable of doing. So what I'm trying to say is that you have to go about this small, very, very small. There's a saying in EFOD that says, bit by bit, we eat the rat. Why do they say bit by bit, we eat the rat? Well, they still eat rat. It's African bush rat that they'll eat rat. It's a delicacy in Nigeria. But there's a lot of bones in it. and you got to be really, really careful when you eat it, because you don't want to eat a rat bone. So bit by bit, you eat the rat. You do the same thing to you. You do the same thing on your development. Piece by piece, one thing at a time. Evaluate yourself and say, I don't really like that too much about myself. Maybe it's a word you say frequently, something negative.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to take over everything. But like people that I meet that apologize for themselves all the time, they're always saying they're sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They do something. I was like, why are you apologizing for yourself? Why are you saying you're sorry? You didn't do anything that warranted you apologizing for anything. Oh, there's a lot of people out there that have these behavioral patterns that they don't quite recognize them. Negative behavioral traits that can be fixed if you just slowly but surely be more mindful of those characteristics and try to make better, healthier choices.
It's the quantum takes everything down to the simplest form. And simply this: if you do not like who you are, you can't keep being that person. You can't. If you want to change, you've got to change. And like I said earlier, it took decades for me to learn who I was. And that's where you have to begin. You've got to learn who you are. Why does that trigger me? And see, the thing, once things are observed, it's now a choice. See, before, well, what triggers me? I don't know. I can't figure it out. Well, once you do the work and you figure it out, well, now if it triggers you, you're choosing to be triggered because you know the observation has happened.
Got to find out what those triggers are, baby. You got to find out what's setting you off. And when I say, and what me and Michelle are talking about, we're not just talking about like when you see a Karen get triggered at Target and she starts throwing shit off.
No.
Talking about, and we're not talking about like some kind of autistic meltdown that people have or anxiety attack.
I'm talking about like when you're having a conversation with your mom and all of a sudden you feel like you're 4. What the fuck is that?
Yeah. Or you
That's
see
what I'm talking about.
Here's something and it automatically, the hair stands up and you just want to react to a cruel response.
Right.
You got to find out what that is, like what's called.
And you observe it. And once you can observe it, once you can, and people have heard me say, once you can see it for what it is, what it simply is, now you can work on clearing that shit out. But you got to do that. And just like he said, you cannot take all the things at once and do this. It's a path. You walk down the path and you make choices down that path on what's going to be cleared out now. I mean, you've got a room full of shit and all you got to do is walk in and grab one thing.
But it don't matter how much shit you do for yourself. If you stay in an environment that is not conducive to the growth of that self, you'll never get out of it. So that's why when I said earlier, you're not separate from your environment.
No.
I'm not lying.
Yeah. Now you're talking about resonance.
Now we're talking about resonance. And what is this is why people don't want to get on the spiritual path traditionally. Traditionally, people don't want to get on the spiritual path because they know when they start to ascend or their consciousness starts to expand or they start becoming more like their true self, their higher self, not the lower self, that there's going to be problems because the people around them are going to notice that. And if you live with stank family that ain't out shit, that are going to criticize you and be nasty to you or try to diminish your growth, you are going to have problems. So at the end of the day, what I have to say is you need to first change your environment, then start enacting the change in yourself, because the environment and you are going to come in.
You're just going to only get so far. I mean,
you won't be there. So what I'm saying is that your environment and the people you associate with
Everything.
who you are, because you're going to end up vibrating on whatever level those people are.
I'm sorry. Grandma was right. Birds of a feather.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I was 16, that drove me insane that she said that shit to me.
But
It's true.
it is. It's very true. This is one of the reasons. So one of the old sayings in my family that I always took with me because I thought it was very important was cleanliness is next to godliness. Okay. Well, so what does that mean? Well, for me personally, it means like there is nothing more spiritually uplifting and refreshing than a clean room, a clean space. And when I mean clean, I mean like I like to deep clean frequently when I'm in my space. And I want it to smell pretty and I want it to look pretty. And when it does, I feel a lot lighter and a lot because I don't have all that dust and dirt from the world around me that makes me go, oh, this isn't comfortable today.
But
You
there
know,
are people that are the opposite.
oh yeah, yeah.
My boss, his desk, you couldn't even see it.
Mhm.
He could not work unless it was like that.
Mhm.
So it's how you resonate that determines that.
Right, right. And so, and that's kind of where you, I think we need to understand that like does attract like. That's what we're really saying here. It's like whatever your environment is, whatever's around you is going to attract more of it.
I
You
think
know,
your environment definitely needs to be conducive. But when we go back, I wanted to give my opinion on that. Cleanliness is next to godliness.
mhm,
To me, that's right here.
mhm,
This is all. I choose the things, they're conducive to me. If they're not, out the door they go in the bin.
mhm,
Okay. But if I don't keep it clean up here and decluttered
mhm,
and simple, because these are just things, they're the
mhm.
environment. This is what's going to bring me closest to godliness.
Right,
And that is
right.
created with a certain standard of ethics or morality. We're talking about clean as in like a clean slate, as an open mind, as an open space. Like when you walk a beautiful church and it's huge and it's spacious.
Yeah. No, I don't mean clean versus dirty. No.
I just wanted to clarify that, because if there are people out there who are still Christian or still colonized or still wandering around and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
We're trying to say that we're talking about openness, as in the way the church feels clean.
I am not cluttered with the judgments of others. I don't keep that clutter. I don't keep the clutter of, hatred of others. The more I detach from others taking up space in my room, the more free I am. So that's what I mean by being clean.
And you determine your ethics and morality, and other people's opinion about it doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
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 Yeah, it gets confusing to people sometimes. I love it whenever I get a blank look on my face at work and somebody goes, "What are you thinking about?" or "What's on your mind?" And I look at them and I go, "I am the tree."
Yeah.
And they literally just, I have people that literally have told some of our management lately that they think that I'm getting dementia because I say things like that. And I'm like, but the fact of the matter is that's what I was thinking at the time is I am. So if you're going to ask me the question, deal with the answer, because that's usually what's going through my mind these days is something, yeah, like that. And we can keep all the clutter we want to, really, if that's what you want to do. But honestly, the freedom, like you're saying, of having a clear thinking space is really important. I think that's one reason why I like to um, kind of personify what's in here out here and make everything clean. I'm sorry, I just got a really good whiff of some food. Somebody's what I think my accident. I just smelled food and it smelled amazing.
So
Now I'm all distracted.
I'm gonna. Can I throw? Can I know this is. I'm not trying to throw this completely off topic because I think tonight's conversation is interesting because we're giving people advice about how to be better versions of themselves. That's what this conversation has been about, like consistent over time. And there's just certain things that I wouldn't mind hearing Michelle say about this, because as being someone who's spiritual and in a spiritual community and runs a spiritual community, okay, and interacting, doing readings for people who are spiritual all the time, I'm going to tell you what I see. Yes, like attracts like. People are going to just kind of like, they're just going to gravitate and move in the direction of the energy that they're working with, whatever it is. But what I find about spiritual people more than anything else is that they are 100%, most of the time, the people that come to me are codependent. They're codependent people. Spirituality tends to attract codependency or cultivate codependency in people. And people with a lack of boundaries tend to navigate towards things like the occult and witchcraft and indigenous spirituality and shamanism and ghost hunting and alien hunting or whatever it is anybody does. So having boundaries are very important because boundaries are an act of self-love.
Yes.
If you love yourself, you should have healthy boundaries around the way you will and will not allow people to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
I have a boundary, which is whoever shows up on my doorstep or whoever I come into contact with on the street, bare minimum, just has to be nice. That's it. I expect the bare minimum from another human being to just try to be kind. That's it. I don't have any other expectations for that person other than just have a smile on your face and try to connect with me. And I'll try to connect with you. And I will be kind and I will be empathetic and I will be nice. But you should have a very strong boundary around how people talk to you and how you allow people to treat you. And if you find that you're a doormat and people are always overstepping their boundaries with you, that is a you fucking problem. So you don't have the right to sit there and be resentful towards people when you don't know how to create a healthy goddamn boundary.
And let me also add to that. Boundary does not necessarily equal conflict. Minding a boundary could be as simple as turning around and walking away. You don't have to confront someone. You don't have to go, yeah, you fucked with my boundary. I mean, you know what I mean? It doesn't have. Go in peace, turn around, walk away.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to even entertain that energy.
That part. Yeah. If somebody acts, so the thing is that's the other thing, like the reaction, the behavior. Someone acts nasty, you got one of two options. You either react nasty to, or you stare at them and you feel bad for them and you walk away from it. Those are the two choices you will get in an opportunity where you're stuck face to face with someone who is not elevated, not enlightened, not on a spiritual path, not trying to be a better person, ain't about shit. What Michelle just said is 100% true. A boundary for you is being able to walk away.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Hit that block button on social media.
Absolutely. You don't got to make a video every time somebody pisses you off.
There you go. Can I just tell you, that is one of the reasons why I don't even scroll through some platforms anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I got so tired of every single video being a whine and bitch session about something. I'm like, honestly, you will feel so much better if you just click that ignore button on that person that just upset you
Mm-hmm.
and walk away. Go find a kitten to pet. Go hug a tree. Go,
Spend time
do
with your
something.
family. Yeah.
Do something.
Yeah.
Do something that's going to bring value to you
But let me
instead
tell
of.
you, some of them people are stuck in stone. I
Mhm,
have tried so many times to say, hey, you don't have to do any of this,
mhm,
but it just happens anyway.
Because they want, though. They want that. That's a
mhm,
desire.
Yeah, it is a desire. It's a choice. It's a choice. So I don't worry about it anymore. I don't try to make people do anything. I don't try to convince anyone to do anything. I live by example. Okay. You spend time with me personally on the phone, video chatting, and come to my house. I am exactly who you see sitting in this chair.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
live by example. I
Mhm.
share what I learn. I'm not, that's it. That's it. I'm
Right.
not here to
Right.
convince anybody of anything. I
Right.
know.
Well, and this was so when I stepped away from TikTok, I stepped away from a lot of social media all at the same time, and it was over a stupid incident that really didn't even involve me. That because of the entanglement I allowed in my life at the time, wound up involving me. And you know what? When I looked at what really occurred, I did two things. First of all, I got rid of the attachment that this person had allowed themselves, and I had allowed to become part of. I was like, you know what, we're not going to do this anymore. You're a great mod, but you do not have my permission to be part of my life outside of being a moderator. And then I thought about it even deeper. I was like, you know what? The core problem here is not just one person. It's this whole entanglement with the app itself and the community. Time to go. Bye. You're not fitting well on me. This is not an article of clothing that's looking good on me here. So I cut it loose. And when I returned back to that app, it was not in the same capacity. And I had people going, oh my goodness, I missed you. No, you didn't miss me. You missed a version of me that was verging on chaos and disorder. I walked into the app really with the intention of just having fun. It turned into something else. And then that something else turned into a really bad experience. So my boundary was cross this out, cross it out, get rid of it. It's no longer serving. And people were upset, and some people embrace now, and some people don't. And that's fine. The fact that I choose to be a podcaster now, usually I talk about cute critters in the woods that scare people and stuff like that. It's surprising to them, but this is where I say all that to say this. Your boundaries. It's okay for them also to change over time. You know, just as well as it is. You can move your property around because boundaries are really protecting your property. That's what a boundary really is. Fence protecting your property.
Yep.
And as if we can sit here and we can hold on to the same boundaries all the time, or we can adjust them whenever they serve us better, you know, in another direction. So I think that's one of the things that was really hard for me to learn personally was being able to adjust the boundaries and say, they can change from time to time too, because I'm changing, I'm evolving. Yeah. My perception of me, my value of me, you know, is changed. I value me a lot more now than I did yesterday. Yeah. And those are do you guys find boundaries a good way to gauge your perception of you sometimes too?
100%. But I want to add something to that, Daniel, which is the people who are in your life that want you to succeed, that want you to be happy, that want you to be the best version of yourself, to be able to wake up every morning motivated to live life and not just get through it, and to enjoy life, not to just struggle for little moments of like instant gratification. Those people will 100% look at you when you tell them that you've created a boundary, and they'll say, I love you. Whatever boundary you put there, if you think it's in your best interest, I will abide by. You pay attention to how people react when you set up a new boundary, especially people that you've known a long time, because that will really truly reveal how they really feel about you. Because when you say no, no means no. No is an entire sentence. No, I'm not going to do that today. No, I'm not going to go pick up your kid today. And I'm not saying say that in a mean way. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm not saying to be mean. You can be as kind as possible when you say it, but see what happens when you create boundaries for yourself and you start saying no to people, how they react. Because if somebody reacts poorly to you setting a boundary, that motherfucker doesn't need to be in your life.
And that is one of the things that keeps people from ascending, that keeps people locked in. Because here's the thing, not everyone is going to follow you on your path. Not everyone is meant to follow you on your path. People are going to drop away. And if you're not willing to let that happen, then that's where you're going to stay. You're going to be weighted by that.
There are some people in life that want to see you do well, but they never want to see you do better than them.
Yeah.
And if they think they can keep you there, that's where they're going to keep you. But I mean, like I said earlier, the whole point is, like I was talking earlier about, a lot of people in the spiritual community are codependent. They're enablers to people that are toxic. And so getting out of victim mentality, getting out of codependency, most spiritual people should probably like go to a codependent anonymous or an Al-Anon at least once to listen to people talking about overcoming being in abusive situations. Spiritual people will allow themselves to be taken advantage of because they don't love themselves enough to have the boundary to say, no, I don't want this in my life anymore.
Exactly.
And it happens everywhere. It happens on social media platforms. But let me tell you something about your friends on Facebook and your friends on TikTok and your friends on YouTube. All those people that you meet on social media, they're like bar friends. They're like gay bar friends. They love you when you're there, and when you're not there, they don't even notice that you're not there. They don't even know that you're gone because they don't give a fuck about you as a person. You are part of a game, a network, a story that's being played out. You have a role, like on a chess piece. And so just if you think that you have a friend group that's like that you're all about, remove yourself from that friend group and see if anybody contacts you. All those people that you go live with on TikTok every single week, all 4, 5, 6 of you that go live and you're always live and you're always talking, don't go live for a week. Don't be on TikTok, and see how many of those people actually reach out to you.
Right.
You know, that's one of the reasons why I have the people that I have in the very small network of people that I have right now, because I can tell you for a fact, like I've got 3 or 4 people in particular who, if they haven't heard from me in a couple of days, they're messaging me, hey, how are you doing? Or just a hi. Just remind me that if I need to reach out, to reach out. You know, I've got one in particular I talk to almost on a daily basis, you know, who will, if I don't talk to them for a day or two, will at least say, "How are you doing?" And this is the difference. This is exactly what you're saying. People who care will show that they care. People who value you will show you that you are valued. They won't just say it in words. Their actions will define how they feel. And this is exactly what this is the difference between finding gold and finding pyrite. Okay, because pyrite looks a lot like gold, has some properties that are pretty similar to gold in some way, but it ain't gold. It can't act like gold. It can't serve the same purpose as gold. It can look like it. It can pretend to be gold. There's reasons why they called pyrite fool's gold at the time, because it fooled a lot of people into believing it was gold. And they spent a lot of their time and resources trying to dig up pyrite. So ultimately, what we have to decide is, are the people in our lives gold or are they pyrite? And their actions will prove what they are. Their actions to you will prove what they are. If you have a friend who genuinely cries for you, or generally cares for you, or generally reaches out to you out of concern, and you know it's because they really care, not because they're just being nosy, that should go. That should go. So, guys, for the sake of, because I know both of you are extremely busy people, and
I was just about to tell you I'm going to have to get off.
it's at the, yeah, I was going to cut this about 15 minutes ago, and I was like, they're still going for a minute. So, final words, final thoughts that you guys want to leave with them?
You want me to go first?
First,
Sure,
Michelle.
Michelle, go ahead. Michelle, you're just glowing these days, by the way. You are a totally different person. You're glowing these days.
Oh, I appreciate that's the lighting. Here's my only message to everybody. I think Ryan actually said it best earlier in the show. Just calm the fuck down. Just calm the fuck down. Take a deep breath, clear to your belly. Okay? Spend some time with yourself. Think about what's important. Here's how you start that list. If you think you don't have anything to be grateful for, are you sitting in a house? Are you hungry? Do you have shoes on your feet? Do you have a glass of water you can have access to? Do you have a toilet you can sit on? That's where you start. Because there are people that don't. For real. They don't. That's where you start. If you are having trouble getting into that gratitude state, start at the basics. Am I warm? Am I hungry? The first thing I do with my gratitude vlog every morning is grateful for that cup of coffee. Okay? It just needs to start there. Then you grow with it and you start practicing it. I also want to tell everybody to go to peacefulshifts.com and peacefulshifts.com. Take a look around, read my blog. I put 1 to 2 blogs out a week. Hopefully to inspire you and to muse you into wanting to change. I mean, if you're sitting around pissing and moaning, you're choosing to, because you don't have to.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thankful to everybody who came tonight. All your people in here. And thank you, Daniel, for inviting me. And I'm so glad to see you, darling.
I know, I miss you guys a lot. Hey, if you are on my Facebook group, post the the link to
Okay, I sure
peacefulshift.com
will.
frequently. Post it once a week. I'm serious. Get in their face once a week so they'll know it's there.
I will do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
I'll be really super brief. Once again, yes, thank you, Daniel, for having me on, and love being on with around Michelle's energy at any time, all the time possible. And thank you for everybody who came. Remember, me and Michelle offer private consultations, private spiritual consultations to help you. If you liked us or you like the things that we said tonight, or you want to explore some of those concepts more, book a consultation with us, book a reading, so that we can see you face to face over WhatsApp or Facebook or whatever, so that we can hear what you have to say, and help you in any way we can. I have a homework assignment. My homework assignment is 2 things I want everybody to do tomorrow. Today is already done. So tomorrow morning, 2 things I want you to do tomorrow. Try to do it all day. When you wake up tomorrow morning, like Michelle said, calm the fuck down and be mindful. Just be mindful. Be present. Try to really focus on the here and now, right now. And try to be in the now all day. Second thing, pay attention to your energy. Pay attention to your energy levels and journal about this every single night. How does your energy feel when you're in certain rooms in your house? How does your energy feel when you're in your neighborhood? How does your energy feel when it's in the car? How does your energy feel when it comes into contact with him or her or him or her or him or her? Pay attention to how your energy changes when you open up an app on your phone and start looking at it. Pay attention to your energy. Be mindful about your energy. Be as mindful about your energy as you possibly can. And if you don't like the energy you feel, change it. And if you don't know how to change it, start thinking about ways to change that, so that you can change the energy that's around you, so that you can live the most authentic and happy life that you possibly can at whatever level you're at.
Right.
And that is my wish to you. May Oshun bless you. May Oshun brings you prosperity. May Oshun bring you all the good things in life, and all of the love and all of the friendship and all the, and I'm going to tell you last thing. Okay, this is the last thing I'm going to say, because I know that everyone wants to go. I know. Your religion doesn't fucking matter.
No, it doesn't.
And your political views
Doesn't matter.
and the spirituality that you dabble in doesn't fucking matter. The only thing that really matters are the people in your life, the connections, the intimate love and friendships you connect with people in your life. People are important, not religions, not politics, not identities, and not spirituality, not even your witchcraft. Because if you're a woman who is more interested at sitting in her room and playing with her herbs and pretending to be a witch, when you got children in the other room that need to be loved and cared for, or that you can engage with, or you could bring them into your room to teach them how to do those things, you're missing the point of all of it.
Yep.
Because it's about the people in our lives that matter. Figure out who matters in your life, and then prioritize deepening those relationships.
Yep.
And that's what I have to say for tonight.
Awesome. You guys are so awesome. I'm so glad that you came in tonight. The 2 of you. I knew that this was going to be a night that is going to be pivotal for some people, frankly. So I appreciate you both.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank
And I
you.
miss you guys. All right. I'm going to let you guys drop if you need to leave. I understand.
Yay. So we can drop.
Yes, if you need to leave, I understand.
I'm
completely.
leaving.
All right.
Love you both.
Love you.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
And I am also going to go because once again, boundaries. So it used to be that I would sit here with you for the next 4 hours. I would sit on lives for like 6 hours talking to people, chatting 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago on TikTok, hours and hours and hours of conversations with people I don't know in chats, which was good because it gave me the opportunity to teach people and learn from them. But at this point in time in my life, I tell my mentees, I tell my students, all the people that are members of my temple, I'm going to go live at 8 p.m. and I'm going to be done by 11 p.m. That is the boundary that I set. That is the energy level that I'm willing to put out, because when I wake up in the morning, I have to decide before my day even gets started what level of bullshit I'm willing to tolerate for a day.
Mm-hmm.
Ask my people. I had a full moon ritual scheduled, full snow moon ritual scheduled for Wednesday night. I did it I do them live. I broadcast them in my Discord, right? Wednesday wasn't my best day. There was a lot of things on Wednesday that just didn't feel good. Okay. And I was like feeling some kind of way, but I had already scheduled that damn ritual. So I said, I'm going to go live. I'm going to greet everyone. I'm going to go directly into the ceremony that I had prepared. And as soon as I finish going through this meditation, reading them through this particular, ritual, I'm going to end the live, because that is the amount of energy that I have to give now. And I did that. So, like I said, Daniel, I don't think you understand how many people walking around have no boundaries. They have no boundaries.
Oh, but yes, I do.
Oh,
There's at least 8 billion of the 8 billion plus people on the planet.
especially in craft and magic and the occult. For some reason, it just tends to attract people like that. It's just a certain kind of thing. Like, even people with mental and behavioral health problems are also attracted to the occult for whatever reason, and the paranormal. It just seems to be that a lot of people who are spiritual also tend to be kind of fucking nuts too. But I think that tonight was a wonderful conversation. I appreciate the time that I spent with you, and Michelle, and I wish you all the best. And I'm going to go ahead and log out. But you have a great rest of the night, and all of your followers, you have a great rest of the night too. And don't be a stranger. You can always come around and follow me. And thank you, Pamela, for putting my link tree in the comments, showing people where they can find me. I really, really appreciate that. I look forward to hearing from any of you. And I'm going to go ahead and say good night.
Good night, Ryan. And reach out whenever you want to.
I will.
Awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. I'm always excited to see Ryan and Michelle. It's a very, very good time. It really is. And it's very comforting because it brings me back to where I need to be some days, It's a good bowl of soup. And I must be hungry because I keep talking about food tonight. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. Hey, do me a favor. If you got this far tonight, tell me what you thought about the show. Give me a comment in the links below. Do not forget to like, share, and of course, if you have not done it yet, subscribe to my show. I really appreciate that. Well, I tell you what, then, Seven Deadly Fins. Go and check out my stuff. If you like it, then please subscribe because there's going to be more to come. I am doing some changes on some of the shows. I was doing two pre-recorded shows a week, and then a live on Fridays. The pre-recorded shows are really not working on this platform the way I'd hoped they would. So I'm going to be moving those to a different thing, and they're going to serve their purpose somewhere else. And I'll talk about that on another show at another time. But I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for the encouragement and the love and support. And again, what do I always say at the end of each show? May your journey always be magical.
I've waited for so long to see when you come back to me. Through the wars and battles that were lost, we're born again, it's you and me. The rest is history.